Hey, Yugioh. I guess I could try that again. Hello.
All around me are familiar faces.
Hello and welcome back to Yugioh. Back, whatever. This is episode 10 and actually something really exciting happened this week. After the tournament, some people at the store opened a whole case of boosters, and well, if you wanna see what happened, you gotta skip to the end or maybe just watch the video. But after the gameplay, you will see the card opening and I'm curious what you think about it. But now it's time for me to head to the store and see how we can do. This week we're back at our regular store and maybe we can do better than we did in the previous weeks. I actually changed some things about the deck, mostly about the extra deck, because I now have Boral Sword and True King of All Calamities in it. So we will see if we can use those. So let's head to the store and see how the games go. So originally I didn't intend to do the first game, but I thought it would be fun to include it anyway. So I go first because I want the dice roll. Start out with Scrap Recycler into O-Lion, then use Scrap Storm and get Scrap Searcher in the grave, which summons itself. And this just keeps going, and I eventually get a pretty decent board, which I'm happy with because I don't know what my opponent plays. I have a Wyvern and I get a Scrap Twin Dragon on the field. But this is where it all starts going very, very wrong. So I will just let this keep going and you will see what's gonna happen. My opponent starts with Terraforming into Lair of Darkness and then he plays Monster Gate, and this is where it all starts going terribly wrong. He plays Void Imagination and Fusion summons with 6 monsters. Oh, hello there, Inferno Tira, but this is just a stepping stone for him. Alright, Super Poly into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. There goes the rest of my board, so I'm completely naked now. So he eventually gets to this board and probably does twice the amount of damage he needs to win the game.
Round 2. Fight!
Oh, so you also want to know how round 2 went? Well, let's see. Well, that was pretty one-sided, so let's head to game 2. So for round 1 I won the dice roll and I go first. I start out by playing Scrap Factory and then I set one card, normal summon Scrap Beast, and then reveal Danger Tsuchinoko, which I special summon, and from that I go into Scrap Wyvern, get back my Beast and trigger both Factory and Wyvern to get 2 golems on the field. First golem gets me back Scrap Beast and goes into Scrap Twin Dragon. I repeat the same thing and go into a second Scrap Twin Dragon and use both of them to exceed summon True King of All Calamities. After that, I have all my cards in the field, so I pass to him. He plays Altergeist Metal-Seek, but I don't like that and negate it with Solemn Judgment, so he sets one and passes to me. I draw into Scrap Recycler and play it, but he negates it with Ash Blossom, so I just activate Wyvern's effect, get back a golem on the field, destroy my Scrap Recycler, and then I search for a goblin and another recycler through factory. Second recycler's effect gets triggered, I search my deck and get Kriston rosenix in the graveyard. I now have a full board and it's time to link into Borrow Sword Dragon. At that point I'm trying to go into battle phase, but he activates Personal Spoofing, gets Multi-Faker and from that Circuitous on the field, but at that point I realize I have True King on the field, which I activate. He then tries negating it with Effect Veiler, but I also have Called by the Grave, so he realizes he lost and scoops it up.
Round 2. Fight!
Game 2 I go first again, so I start with Terraforming and get a Scrap Factory. After that I normal summon Scrap Recycler, but he negates it with Effect Veiler, so he stalls me out and I can just pass to him. He normal summons Metal-Seek, attacks me directly and destroys my Scrap Factory. After that he links him into Link Kuriboh and gets its effect, getting Multi-Faker on his hand. Then he ends his turn, so on my turn I tribute summon Scrap Golem and get back my Scrap Recycler. I want to use its effect, but he uses infinite impermanence, to which I chain Scrap Storm. I search my deck for a Scrap Searcher and after that Mecha-Phantombeast O-Lion, then I draw a card. I special summon Searcher and get an O-Lion token, he gets Multi-Faker and from that Circuitous in the field. I link both of my monsters into Scrap Wyvern and then special summon a Parallel Exceed. He tributes his Circuitous and destroys my Wyvern. After that I link my Parallel Exceed and Scrap Golem into another Scrap Wyvern and special summon another Parallel Exceed. I trigger Wyvern's effect, summon a random Scrap monster that gets destroyed, that way I get Searcher back and I get to search my deck, so I special summon Scrap Mindreader. I destroy his back row card through Scrap Wyvern's effect, he changes its Personal Spoofing so he gets an Altergeist Conqueror to his hand. I Synchro Summon into Scrap Twin Dragon, destroy Scrap Searcher to bounce both of his cards and then attack him directly with 4700 damage. On his turn he summons Altergeist Marionetta, then sets Altergeist Manifestation. He then special summons Metal-Seek, attacks me directly and destroys my Scrap Wyvern. Searcher gets special summoned and he links into Link Kuriboh. He also gets Multi-Faker from his deck to his hand. On my turn I activate Scrap Twin Dragon's effect, he chains Manifestation to get Marionetta on the field. Then from that he gets Multi-Faker, but I negate it with Ash Blossom. Next I summon Scrap Recycler and search for Kriston rosenix, I get the token and then link both of the monsters into Scrap Wyvern. Wyvern special summons Golem, destroys Recycler and then special summons Beast from the deck. After that I destroy his defense position monster with Wyvern's second effect. I special summon another Scrap Twin Dragon, then go to battle phase. He negates my first attack with Conqueror and then I clear his board with the rest of my monsters. On his turn he summons Marionetta again and sets Altergeist Protocol. He then special summons Metal-Seek, attacks me directly for 500 and destroys my Wyvern and then links into Link Kuriboh. He also gets another Multi-Faker on his hand. On my turn he activates Protocol, gets Multi-Faker on the field which gets him a Circuitous. He then activates Manifestation and gets a Marionetta on the field. He bounces one of my Scrap Twin Dragons and destroys the other. Destroying it gets me back a Scrap Searcher and also a Scrap Wyvern on the field. I activate Scrap Wyvern's effect, but he activates Ghost Ogre and destroys it. Next I tribute summon my Scrap Golem, then get Scrap Recycler back and search my deck for Gizmek Orochi. I summon Orochi through his effect, then go to battle phase and clear most of his board. In main phase 2 I special summon Scrap Mindreader and destroy Scrap Recycler. Then I synchro into my final Scrap Twin Dragon and pass to him. He starts by normal summoning Ghost Ogre and linking them into Kriston Hulky Fibrex, gets an Effect Veil on the field which he links into Selene. Selene gets 3 tokens and gets another Effect Veiler, and this way he goes into Access Code Talker. He removes Selene to destroy my Scrap Twin Dragon. I get a Scrap Recycler on the field and trigger its effect. That way I get a Jet Synchron in the graveyard. He attacks my Scrap Golem, but at that moment time is caught and I have more life points, so I win the game. Well, in round 3 it was another Shadow game and I still don't quite know how to face Shadow, so I lost the game 2-1 and it was pretty one-sided overall, so it's not included in here. Let's go to game 4. In game 4 I begin again. I start with Recycler and get an O-Lion into the graveyard. From that I go into a Wyvern. Wyvern then special summons Golem to the field by destroying the Scrap Recycler. Golem gets me back my Scrap Recycler, which searches again, this time for Jet Synchron. I also special summon Parallel Exceed because of the Link monster. Next I special summon Scrap Orthos and destroy Recycler. I synchro summon into Scrap Twin Dragon, and with that board I pass to him. He starts out by playing Trade, he discards one level 8 monster and draws 2 cards. Next he plays Foolish Broil and gets Gizmek Orochi in the graveyard. He reveals Danger Thunderbird and makes me discard one, it's the wrong one so it gets special summoned. Next he removes 8 for Gizmek Orochi and special summons that as well. He Exceed summons Dingurzo and sends my Twin Dragon to the grave, then normal summons Grand Maju and attacks my monsters and does 2100 damage. My turn again, so I normal summon Scrap Recycler, but he negates its effect with Infinite Impermanence. I discard one and get Jet Synchron in the grave, then I link the Scrap Wyvern. Wyvern special summons Orthos and destroys it, which gets me another Recycler on the hand, and special summons a Golem to the field. Golem then special summons Orthos again, and I synchro summon into Scrap Twin Dragon. I use Twin Dragon's effect, tribute my Wyvern and bounce his cards, then attack him for 3000 damage directly. He tries activating his Orochi, but I negate it with Called by the Grave. On his turn he summons Grand Maju again and attacks my dragon, which triggers his effect, so I get Wyvern back on the field and he passes to me. I'm lucky because I draw into Scrap Factory, so I play it, then I normal summon Scrap Recycler and activates its effect, getting a Scrap Searcher in the grave. Next I activate Wyvern's effect, get Twin Dragon back and tribute my Scrap Recycler, getting a Scrap Golem and a Scrap Goblin on the field through Factory and Wyvern. With this board I can go into Scrap Dragon, using its effect to destroy his monster, then enter battle phase and attack him, but on the final attack he activates Orochi and I can only destroy his monster, leaving him with 100 life points. All I can do now is pass to him, he summons another Grand Maju and attacks my monster for over 10,000 damage and wins round 1.
Round 2. Fight!
In round 2 I make him go first. He starts by Pot of Desires and removes 10 cards to draw, then he plays Trade in. After that he reveals Bigfoot and makes me discard one, it's the wrong one so he gets special summon it and draws another card. After that he plays Thunderbird, does the same thing again and draws a card, and finally he does it one more time for Ogopogo and summons that one as well. Next he removes 8 cards and special summons Orochi, then he goes into Exceed summon and first summons Hope Harbinger, and next he summons Xenophont the Sky Prison, locking me out of my graveyard. With this board he passes, so I'm pretty locked down. I just set 2 and then try playing Terraforming, but he negates it with Hope Harbinger and attaches it. I pass turn, he plays Trading, gets 2 more cards, then reveals Thunderbird, makes me discard one. I picked the wrong one so he destroys my back row. Then he uses Monster Reborn, gets back his Thunderbird, attacks me, and then in the battle phase also activates Orochi, discarding 8 more and attacking me for more than 8000 damage to win the game.
All around me are familiar faces.
Alright, that's the games for this week. I'm actually not quite happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy with the one game I won because that was probably one of the best games I've played so far since I got back to the game. But also in game 4 against the OTK deck I did a lot of misplays and I could have probably easily won the game if I didn't do so many stupid mistakes, but that's how you learn, and luckily I can look over these videos and see what I did wrong. But now to the reason why you're probably all here, because of the clickbait title, so let's head to the display opening and see if it was actually clickbait.
Ganz ruhig.
And there you have it, a 10,000 dragon fresh from the display. It was actually really fun because everybody was sitting around the table and looking at the display opening, and when they opened the pack with the 10,000 dragon and looked at it for a second, everybody went completely silent and suddenly everybody exploded into cheers and everybody was super happy for them. So that was one of the most amazing moments in Yu-Gi-Oh! I've seen so far, and I'm really happy I was there to see it. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any feedback or any suggestions how I should improve my deck, tell me down in the comments below. Also, if you liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe and hit the bell button. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. It's a free world, you can do whatever you want. But if you did like it, I hope to see you again in the future, and until next time, have a nice day!